Hello and welcome to this episode of There Be Dragons. I am your Dungeon Master Matthew. Let's go around the table, introduce the players and the characters they play. To my right is...
I am Angela and I am playing Abella.
Hi, I'm Keren and I play Rhylind, Westfall, your friendly neighbourhood dragonborn.
Love that you do that the same way every time.
It's my thing.
I know. Because she's neither friendly nor from your neighborhood.
It's
Your
ironic.
unfriendly strangerhood.
Your unfriendly stranger looming in the backyard. Rhylind Westfall. That better?
I'm Josh. I play the man you would never want to meet in a dark alley, Skairn Fellspar.
At least he likes to think that, you know, you wouldn't want to be met in a dark alley.
You'd be probably shot in your sleep rather than, like, harpooned away.
That has actual statistical backing.
Oh, absolutely. More people have died of Skairn's harpoons asleep than awake.
That's because you've got as many shots at us as you want.
Yeah.
My name's Tristan. I play Charlie Roughhouse.
And I'm Tom. I play your magical musician, Nezor.
I'm glad that we're all
We're
starting.
making up our own bullshit.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I
fine.
feel kind of bad. I didn't have
This whole
You
thing
want to do
is...
yours again, Angela?
I'm Angela and I'll play Bella. I'll rob you. Is that Abella talking or is it Angela? I'll let you find out.
That was awful.
That's the journey.
With Charlie otherwise occupied in the city of Ratu, Arthur the Bateman has taken you, Skairn, Abella and Nezor, back to your billet to await for Skairn's summons to Castellan's office for his long-awaited discussion about his sister. In the meantime, you sit and you wait.
Frosh starts chirping and then looks at
What's up,
your
boy?
rucksack that you've taken with you, and it bursts into blue flames.
What?
And it quickly extinguishes
Holy
itself.
shit!
How long do I have to react to this?
It is like a 3-second burst of flame.
Right. I didn't have a lot of value in there. Just some extra clothes.
You look at it and go, oh, I'm so glad there was something dividing that and the gunpowder.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm glad I carried the gunpowder separately.
You good, Scan? You
It
seem to
appears to
have
have been my book with a bullet in it.
Oh, good.
I have a shiny bullet.
And it's just
You do.
lit on fire.
It did. That's odd.
Did you do
Very.
anything?
No,
Well,
I was here.
good.
I can't say there'd be a connection between...
Any of the
Estate
things that have
papers
just
and
happened and
so-
that.
I mean, I don't
it
think
was-
we're being punished by the divine entities.
So definitely, that was definitely
Pretty
magical.
sure.
And
Well, the
that
book was magic.
Yeah, so...
Didn't they scream when you opened them, when we tore them apart?
Yeah, they did a lot of stuff.
And now
Like
one
a
just
lot
appeared
of
to have
stuff.
immolated. That's interesting.
Well, you had a book before.
And now I have a bullet.
Now you have a bullet.
Nothing we can do about it
So
now.
that's cool.
Arthur
Look,
looks
it was
at you
mainly a
all.
keepsake anyway.
Arthur looks at you all like you're crazy people.
Arthur,
Yeah.
these things happen.
My life is not a book with a bullet in it that you want to just jump into at the middle, Arthur.
Sometimes books just catch on fire.
Anyway,
You can see on his face that this was not reassuring him at all.
I go outside.
Cool.
Because I was mainly doing it to upset him.
Would you two like to do anything?
Weren't we going to go...
We have a meeting at
Yeah.
noon with a lady
Yeah,
from
we do.
the criminal masterminds, the lady that we saved. But that's not till noon. Arthur, is there a way
He's
we
out the
could,
door. Yeah.
is there a way we could get out of the estate without anyone seeing us for our meeting?
Not that I'm aware of. There are guards everywhere. You
Yeah,
could
makes
just
sense.
ask. You're not prisoners, right?
I don't know.
Has he opened the door?
He's about to.
Because Skairn would be like on the other side of the door.
Yeah. Anything else? Do you want some sandwiches?
I mean, look, I wouldn't say no to some sandwiches.
Okay.
Thanks, Arthur.
And he walks off. Well, 15 minutes later, there's a knock at the door. And
Hello.
Yeah?
he doesn't even wait for you to answer. He just opens it. There's just like basically an errand boy, Mr. Thuferson. Castellan would like to see you.
Leads the way.
And he takes you across the threshold into the officers area.
Ooh.
And you see immediately that there's like a large dining room here as well. definitely, like, whereas yours was a little bit more intimate, more like a drawing room converted into, this thing is, like, designed to sit at least 50 people.
Have we been in there before? Didn't
No.
we eat there? Oh, okay.
No, because this is the area of the house that we weren't allowed in.
This is the wing that the military... And then you see why, because they've basically been creating maps. If you'd like, you can try and glean some information from it, but basically this looks like a war room. Roll me... Well, what would you like to do? There are maps on the wall. There appears to be, like, it's not a scale model or anything, but they are definitely building, like, something that looks like a physical representation.
Troop deployments.
Okay. Roll... And he's walking you through pretty quickly. Roll me perception.
Yeah, I roll very low. Perception... 10.
10? Okay. The one thing you do gather is that a couple of the agents who are working on this central table are taking small wooden, like, cylinders that are painted red and are moving them from, like, a pile that are off the board, if you will. Sorry?
Meeples.
Yeah. Onto the board into different places. There was a much larger force camped outside the city to the north that they're now bringing into the city.
Okay.
That's all you're able to really gather from it, but you get the distinct impression that there is a very deliberate mathematics at play here that you don't understand.
Okay, cool.
And then you're ushered into a small waiting...
I try not to rubberneck it while I'm going through either. I'm just like, I have a suspicious...
No one's really paying you any attention.
Yeah.
The guy who's leading you through is literally in front of you, and they don't seem particularly worried. But yeah, this whole wing seems highly organized, like extremely organized. So you are led into like an antechamber.
Adjutants.
Yeah, more people handling paperwork, and it's just this very precise, almost clock-like precision. People bring papers in, they leave them on the desk. The desk adjutant goes through them, sorts them into 3 piles, shuffles them, pans them back to different people, and they just seem to be doing this dance around you This is not something you've ever seen in an Illic war camp.
No.
This would never be...
Or on the pirate ship either.
Yeah.
It is an order of magnitude more organized military than the Illic people do.
Yeah. And you're seated near the door, which is a nice oak double door. It is, again, those weird proportions. It would be big for a halfling, but it's not quite big enough to be impressive for a human, if that makes sense. And you can hear murmuring on the other side of the door. The adjutant is not paying any attention. You may, if you would like, listen in.
I rolled a 2. So 8.
You can hear a young girl's voice who seems to be arguing with an older male, you assume Castellan. And they're getting like snippets of conversation. It's not a particularly quiet one, it's just because it's barred from the door. You're hearing Mary complaining about something and the exasperated call and response from Castellan. You're almost like leaning in to get more information when the door opens and Mary strides out. She is dressed in fencing leotard and is shouting at Castellan, "I hate you!" You can see that she's holding a small rapier. Like, this isn't a training rapier, this is an actual rapier. Her hand is rested on it, and this is the first time you may have noticed this. She is actually missing the ends of her fingers on one of her hands. And
like fresh?
No, they're clearly old wounds. But she's shouting, "I hate you," to Castellan. And Castellan's like, "I am trying to teach you the art of swordplay. I do not have time to teach you how to properly address lords and ladies. I do not have time for tea parties. I am teaching you how to use a sword." And she goes, "I want to wear pretty dresses," and then storms off.
Skairn is acting dumb to the whole thing. He's just sitting there patting his dragon. He's got rush down on his forearm, which is armored. Like one sleeve is armored to accommodate a claws, and he's got him down there, and he's grooming him, pretty much. And Crush is sort of got his neck up and say, "Do under here, do under here," and he's sort of, "Yes, you little." And as she comes out, it goes. Frosh would be a little startled by the noise, and he goes, "Don't worry, don't worry," but wouldn't. Knowing where Castellan is, knowing his Castellan is within earshot, he wouldn't say anything to Mary unless she addressed him.
Yeah, no, she doesn't even bat an eyelid. She just leaves, storms out.
She calls you a poo-poo head on the way out.
I don't say shit. I'm just like...
The adjutant leans out and goes, "Sir, your 10-bell meeting is here."
Whenever he's ready.
Yeah, Mr. Thuferson, come in. Now's as good a time as any. As you walk in, this is a pretty spacious office. All the old furniture is clearly been pushed to one side, and someone's obviously brought something in. It looks like a field desk, and it is absolutely swamped with papers. There is a training mannequin that's been set up, and Castellan is putting a blade into a sheath. And he lays that very delicately on the desk.
Is it a training blade? Or
no, it's a full weapon.
And it's a rapier?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then he goes and sits down on the opposite side and indicates a small chair. It's more like a stool than anything. Please, take a seat.
I've been sitting a lot recently. Do you mind if I stand?
Not at all. Close the door. First of all, I feel I should apologize for the fact that what was intended to be a discussion last night turned into slightly more than what I had originally intended.
Don't apologize. Your employer is amusing.
He gives you like the taut smile of someone who's like, yes, quite.
No. Let me be clear. He is an Ilikial. I imagine working with a man would be difficult for a southerner. I frankly am impressed that you have raised so high in his organization. You must be a man of some considerable ability to have the respect of the Jarl, despite not being not just not Illic, but not of our ways.
He goes, Mr. Thufferson, if you're attempting to flatter me, let me tell you it's working.
Don't burn this guy's face off.
But I might pash him.
That's fine. I don't care.
No, I say, no attempted flattery. We're Illic. We don't. False modesty is not an Illic trait.
I am aware of this, and I'm sorry. I have had a very long evening trying to explain to several people why they shouldn't follow their commanding officer's orders, and then a very heated conversation earlier with said commanding officer. Jarl Davidson is a difficult man, but a man I would happily follow.
A man to die for. No, sorry. A man to die with.
He actually smiles at that. He goes, yes, I think that's a very appropriate way to put it. I am not like many of my peers. I don't necessarily ascribe to all aspects of Urhat tradition and orthodoxy. My initial plans regarding this conversation, he gestures to both of you, involved me bringing you to this manor, clapping you in irons, putting you in the basement, and then applying the thumb screws. Now, since that
If Skairn had a glass of wine, he'd be sipping casually from it.
Oh, there's not a drop of alcohol in this room.
No, but Skairn is affecting the in no way surprised by that information.
Yeah. He goes,
Possibly he is tickling his dragon's chin.
Yeah. Then Castellan goes, the fact that you saved my life changed the dynamic here a little bit. I take oaths and deeds very seriously. This conversation has one of three outcomes. The first is that we live as friends, we shake hands, and sadly, I feel like this might be the least likely, given what I am going to ask you and what I intend to do. The second is that we both leave on, if not amicable terms, then at least terms of honor. The third option involves you in the basement.
With the thumb screws.
Exactly. So now that you understand my position, tell me a story. I want to know everything I can about the sea bitch. And he says that with just a hint of venom.
Can I insight his feelings toward the sea bitch?
Sure.
17?
You get nothing from him.
Wow. What do you want to know? She is my twin sister, if we are thinking of the same woman. My sister, Bodil Mira's daughter, we grew up in Llanidloss. And I say in the sort of broadest senses of words, we were mainly around Llanidloss.
Yes, I'm familiar with the Illic attitude to anyone not Illic.
well, also the unusual topography. There is a lot of tors and cairns, sort of spires of rock. Many house dragonet nests, because the local game was to try and bother them or possibly even steal an egg, hence this handsome fellow. Bordel was always a little obsessed. Particularly, I think it was a jealous thing. I mean, she always loved him, but he's mine.
Well, you needn't worry about that. She certainly has her own brood now.
Brood?
Yes. I narrowly avoided having my face burned off.
Lucky. This one, I don't know if you know, its sting is a tail. Beyond that, raised by, well, our mother and father, but my father's father is a fisherman. He taught me sailing and fishing. I was that for a long time. Joined a whaling crew, hence the harpoons. It's my particular speciality. Fuck all of you. Hence the name Fellspar. I believe that's where it comes from. I've never really gotten it myself. It's very confusing. I don't. But no, last I knew of / saw my sister, she was in Lanad lost. You can ask any of my fellows. I'm sort of looking, but okay, so I left the sea. Cards on the table, I was a pirate too, for a while.
At that, he leans forward and bridges his fingers and brings them steepled under his chin and listens avidly.
Not the commander of my vessel. Little sort of jealousy in my craw about that. I was like, how the fuck did she get there? But no, I get a letter from my grandfather saying that Bordel has gone missing. And I'm like, well, this is worrying. Most of my family live in and around. Like, we don't stray far from the north. I am unusual in that. And so I'm wondering where she has gone. So I am looking for her. You are honestly the first man who knows of her that I have met. And I have met some reasonably high-up intelligence operatives in the Earhart army who promised me information on her and did not deliver, mainly, I suspect, because they did not have it. So
when you say that, he furrows his brow and he goes, you wouldn't be talking about Dupree Dupont, would you?
My life is a book you don't just open in the middle.
He approached me about the information that I am quite interestingly going to share with you.
He has said something to me, and I have no idea for context of this.
He was instructed to arrange for a windfall to occur in return for this information. He never followed through on that.
But what he told me was something about the cult of the dragon.
Well, there was a dragon born on her vessel when they boarded us.
Oh.
Red fellow, quite big.
He's dead. I don't know if that makes you feel any better.
A little.
Yeah, no. I'd actually crush his hand. Well, tail. The pointy bit. The poison.
That's not enough to kill a person.
Oh, no, he's dead.
I'm sure, but what I'm saying is that a draconid's sting.
No. It didn't. It rendered him unable to prevent what happened next.
I see.
Good boy. So clever.
He reaches into like a pocket and pulls a small, it looks like a ration of some kind, and actually just throws it to Prosh.
Who catches it and sort of noms it down.
Good boy.
Marduk was his name if you want to ever curse the guy to a god or something.
Not really, he's dead, so he's no longer in the picture, so I don't
Nasty fucker, though. So, yeah, I can't imagine what...
Harpoon?
I believe an axe.
He was using a harpoon when I saw him last, although...
Oh, no. Flail? Yeah, might have been.
There are so few Dragonborn. I would not be surprised if it was the same man.
I met him in Orim, it was like about 2 weeks ago? Orim?
Interesting.
I very carefully don't mention DuPont either.
Well, I want to make this abundantly clear to you. I intend to kill your sister with my bare hands.
Skairn's still smiling.
Thank you for that interesting bit of information.
Can I infer what information he's referring to, Marduk?
Roll me a insight check.
That's the best all day. 18.
You get the impression that what Castellan is doing is building a
picture of
psychological profile of Bodil, trying to understand her. Well, I am a man of my word, so you may ask me a question.
Did you could you tell me in what I sort of have inferred a little bit, but in what situation you met Bodil?
At the question, Castellan's face darkens like a thundercloud.
We had finished with the North. We had been fighting for 5 different families in the Unholy Empire. They defaulted on payment, so we withdrew our services.
Ugh.
And we were pursued for this. We took several ships, bought, borrowed, and then ultimately stole, and headed to the closest friendly port. On our way, we entered very strong mist that separated the convoy.
Magical?
I doubt it. These things are fairly common, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
We were then set upon by Illic. Or at least that's what we initially thought. You see, it seems that was a feint. The second attack came from a vessel that bisected my ship. Which was not an easy thing to accomplish, let me tell you, but this thing tore through us like a knife through butter.
Armored prow?
Yes.
Never. I haven't heard of such a vessel. I'm just trying to think of a way that could happen.
The next thing I know, the crew are fighting for their lives. I barely had time to save Mary. I could not say the same for her mother, unfortunately.
That's rough. Is this why you are...
I swore an oath to protect my Jarl's family.
Can I insight that's why he's pissed?
I'm pretty certain you don't need to roll.
But to what level?
Roll me an insight.
Is it because it's imposed on his honor or because...
Roll me an insight.
That's a nat 20.
There you go.
Okay.
Plus 6. It had to happen once.
You see just a flicker in his eyes, and you have seen this maybe once before when Charlie almost murdered the druid you attempted to kill, and then it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
From the conversation you'd been having, you think this is probably a point of honor, but you also think that this might also be a point of shame.
I heard that he had transgressed, that he was making up for something, that was he looking after Mary because of this, or was he doing that beforehand?
You would not be able to know that.
Castellan resumes his story.
My ship was lost all hands. It was myself and Mary barely escaped. I don't know if you have noticed this or not, and he brings his hand up and then wiggles the fingers. She didn't leave
unscathed.
You can thank your friend Marduk for that.
Well, I don't know if it would make the kid feel better, but the guy is most certainly extinct. I don't like guys who hurt children. I had no particular beef with the man. Now I do.
Then perhaps you should think of your sister in the same terms. After all, she is responsible for Mary's mother's death.
We spent 4 days on Flotsam, in the middle of an ocean. It was a miracle we survived.
Yeah, that it is. I'm pretty glad I saved your life at this point. Mainly because it gives me a chance to say, in Illic culture, blood feuds and so forth, you would have cause to face me one-on-one, sure. Clapping irons, it's a bit low. But if you want to take this as a point of honor, There need not be a beef between us. My sister is her own woman. I understand you. It's nice to understand. It's so nice to understand where the other man is coming from. I genuinely say it. Best of luck.
I think she's going to be less of a challenge now. And then he smiles a little bit, goes, are you familiar with peg legs?
Well
you
done,
see,
sir.
I took her leg.
Do you happen to have it?
How do you think we survived?
Wait. They're cannibalized.
Yes.
Skairn, genuinely. Oh, she's got it coming. I don't know who wins in that situation. Sorry, my friend. That's wonderful. You for a man who I have just complimented on how not illic he is. That is the most illic thing I've ever fucking heard. Mary imbibed of this? That kid's gonna go far. You watch out for that kid. You teach her all the sword fighting you can.
At that, he sort of has like a exasperated look on his face and he goes, she would much rather be trained as a young lady.
I'm sure she would. For now. She'll grow up. She's had an interaction.
This is a phase with children.
She has had an interaction with the sea bitch. That kid will come around.
As I said, once this unpleasantness is resolved, and the greater unpleasantness in general.
You mean the war?
Yes, of course. I'm sorry, forget I'm talking to an illic. I'm far more used to dealing with, shall we say, more civilized people.
Oh, there's no need to be mean.
He furrows his brow at that and he goes, that wasn't an insult.
No, I know. Castellan, you gave us 3 options. We leave as enemies, friends, or allies. I'm seeing only the enemies and friends. If you're wanting me to hunt my sister for you, the answer is no. Without rancor. But if there was another element to it, in the city, there are, for example, people trying to kill you. People in masks. I like killing people in masks.
I'm not so worried about them. My
Do you know who's
hand here has been soft.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was the best way to approach this. They are going to discover that I am not someone to be trifled with.
Would you object to my party and I involving ourselves in the masked vigilante issue?
I like you, Skairn. You're pragmatic. That's not something I generally encounter. So I'll be blunt. If you and your friends behave yourselves within my city, you and I will not have any problems. Am I understood?
In full candor, you have actually allayed my worries quite significantly, sir. I thought she was in trouble. She is, but not for the reasons I was worried about. She's some sort of pirate queen, albeit missing a limb. I at least know where she is. I am that is why I'm happy. My worries was that she was this cult of the dragon. She was some sort of hooded acolyte crawling around a cave system, praying to some dragon god that they were trying to bring into a being to destroy the world. I am overjoyed to find that she is sinking vessels. She's doing... She knew I was a pirate. She's such a copycat. All this has to one-up me.
He just looks at you like blank face.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I had an elder brother.
Oh, don't tell me he died on the boat.
No, he died many years before.
I'm sorry. It is rough to lose a sibling.
Yes, well, my father took it worse than I did.
I'm sure he did. Are you Erhard by birth?
Of course. The accent didn't give it away.
Accents can be learned.
If you're trying to learn the Erhard accent...
No. No. So if I wanted to do a better impression of an Erhard accent, I would. Proud of my heritage and all that. Yeah, sorry, you were saying, you like me, I like you, we're friends, this is good.
But I will kill your sister. Just
Yeah.
be absolute.
No, 9. Yeah.
So...
Kill her! She deserved it!
Give it a go. He's really, that is genuinely he's like, no. This is between you and her. Skairn is privately thinking, I should probably step in, but this guy has an army. Not now. Now is not the time. He did float the whole, I'll fight you in an even duel, and Castellan didn't go for it, and he's like, it's probably for the best, because I'm okay with not doing that. So let's let bygones be bygones, and now I have a fairly good idea where to look for my sister. And also, it doesn't seem like this is a pressing concern for him. This is an ongoing, I will have my vengeance eventually sort of a deal. He has
Probably not the only one.
yeah, this is it also. So I'm like, she's a pirate queen, she knows what she's doing, she could probably handle herself, albeit missing a leg. I'm interested to find out what the deal is, but this is a lot more information that Skairn has possessed previously and is happy to have it. He's actually he's pretty stoked with the way this conversation has gone. He's not being clapped in irons. He's found out where his sister is. He's found out that she's mostly okay. And also answers to the Marduk business was kind of nice as well. He's pretty stoked about everything that's gone on here. So, he may have reasons to not be, but he's not fully aware of them at the time.
That's fine. He then goes, I will allow you to have full run of this city. I will sign documents that allow you passage between our checkpoints. As to the peace in this city, I will ask you to simply let me know if you come across any information you think pertinent. And should you clear up the problem yourselves, well, I'm sure there's perhaps something I can do in return for you. Not many people would come to Ratu without a purpose, so my next question is, why are you here?
The first city nearest to Orim, which was burning when we left it.
I see. Do you require lodgings here?
I believe we are sorted on that front. There was
longer-term lodgings is what I'm talking about.
Oh, look. It's very kind. I believe we are sorted on that front. If the situation changes, I would have to consult with all of our party. I don't believe the plan is to stay particularly long. It's more of we want to go somewhere a little less heated.
Did you have a destination in mind?
We're going to try and figure it out. We don't have any place in mind at the moment, I don't think.
I have one last question for you, Mr. Thuferson. A request, really.
I would ask 2 favors of you.
Mm-hmm.
Not your group, you. I have with my adjutant 2 envelopes. One of them contains a message for your erstwhile companion, Rhylind Westfall, who I know is in my city because, and he gestures to a piece of paper on his desk, apparently my soldiers arrested her last night and then released her without checking with me.
So she's okay?
Well, she was injured. I don't know if she's okay now. Apparently she's attracted the ire of some kind of criminal organization. The second envelope is for your sister.
Oh, sure.
If you should encounter her before I do, I would like you to hand that to her. Its contents are private.
You would do well to respect that privacy.
Sure. May I inquire of the contents of the letter to Rhylind? Or is that also private? If that is...
That is private, but I assume since you are...
She would probably tell me.
Well,
I won't lie that she's not here. Obviously, she's here.
Yes, the deception was amateurish at best. There are only so many Dragonborn in the world, and only a few known to be silver. Even less wearing Erhard-style clothing and armor. No matter. The letter details a private message for her and if she feels that she needs to pass on any of its relevant information, I'm sure she will.
Absolutely. I can certainly promise you the first. The second, look, I'll take the letter. If I encounter my sister, I will certainly give it to her. I can't say that I'll necessarily run into her. You have actually allayed a lot of my fears. Do you want me go looking for her?
I already have people looking for her currently. She's gone to ground.
As any good pirate does. Well, look, I will give it her the letter if I find her. I won't lie to you and say I'm not looking for her, but I'm not looking for her as vigorously as I was before. Obviously, she's my sister, and if someone is wanting to kill her, I want to give her a letter from the man.
He smiles very dryly at that and goes, as I said, if you see your sister.
Sure. That we can do.
Consider this, he makes a gesture between the two, a amicable end to this conversation.
Good. Draws a blade, slowly, and with no obvious malice, and runs it very lightly across his fingertips, and then holds out a hand to shake.
He looks at your hand. Now, tell me a little bit about this ritual here.
It's an illic thing. It's not a blood brotherhood, but a blood bond. He is swearing to do what you have asked.
And obviously the appropriate response would be to do the same, yes?
Yeah.
What is the response taken to mean if it is not returned?
That it's sort of a mutual trust. You have said, if you're going to do some big shit in my city, clear it with me first. If you're not, you're free to do. We are good. It's basically it seals in blood everything that this conversation has just entailed. Right. Everything that we've both said in honesty to each other is sealed in blood.
Yeah, he clasps your hand, but he does not blood himself.
He gives Castellan a good look. He gives the hand a good look. And then he says, the blood is on you then.
And it will remain until it is washed away. And he just eyeballs you, and you know exactly what he means by that. He's talking about your sister.
Mm-hmm. So as far as he's concerned, he gave his blood back then? Okay. So he considers himself bound to this?
To your illic mind, this would be acceptance of what you were putting on the table, but feeling aggrieved to the point where he couldn't accept it from his position.
So Skairn takes the letters with his bloody hand, and he's not particularly careful.
Well, the letters are with the adjutant, so he doesn't have them on the table or anything. But yeah, you can leave.
It would be obviously taking them with.
And Castellan watches you the whole time as you leave.
He turns and says, best of luck with the little one. If you want someone else to do any classes, happen to know a particularly gifted dragonborn.
You hear the slightest chuckle. It's almost so quiet that you're not certain it happened.
As he walks away.
Skairn, you return to the sitting room where you find Abella and Nezor.
Licking my fingertips.
It would have been about a 20-minute conversation.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
And I arrive going, we are free to go.
Oh, that makes that
Oh,
easy.
excellent.
Better. We've got the run of the city.
Well,
What did you have to do to get that?
I'm going to notice the licking of the hand and deliberately choose to not comment on it.
It's an illic thing.
Okay, all right.
Our dear friend Castellan.
If that's what we're calling that.
Super duper grudges. My sister sank his boat. He took her leg, but fair.
Doesn't seem like a fair exchange.
But also, this fun thing. Marduk, big red.
Oh yeah,
Red guy that we
red
killed.
dude that
yeah.
we killed. Yeah, he was on the boat. He wasn't on. He was on Bodel's boat. I am entirely unsure of what to make of this.
I wonder if she's going to be mad about that.
Yeah, look.
Isabella kind of hopes
She
so.
did the sinking to about a year ago. Marduk was in Orim 2 weeks ago.
So we don't know what happened between that
Yeah,
time.
I have no timeline on that. But given what DuPont's a fucking liar.
Shocker.
He knows DuPont.
Okay,
old.
Nezor would just raise an eye at you, just like, yeah, you've never liked DuPont.
No. But
Like legit, Nezor would just be like, I'm not instantly not going to trust you on that one.
And cats like water and horses like running, whatever. Out of character question, would we have heard about your sister?
We'd know.
you were there when the conversation happened.
Yeah, we'd know he was looking for her.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
You made a negotiation for information with each other.
Yeah.
The only person who probably doesn't know about it is Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah. So the TED Talk notes are
On the website.
on the website.
What is this?
I have no idea. It's
This guy Ted. He goes around to all the different
Yeah.
towns and he just talks to people.
This
That sounds like the worst guy.
euphemism.
Oh my
It's
God.
This dude called Ted. He's some sort of stevedore, and he just travels from port to port, giving weird talks about,
As a viable industry, you could totally turn seashells into money. Here's my 5-step program on how to do that.
Oh, I've heard about that guy. He's the worst.
Yeah. I much prefer large cylinders of coral. Anyway, so yeah, she sinks his boat. She gets upset. He gets upset. Nearly dies. Eats her leg. Like that detail.
Like, sorry. Let's backtrack just to the last point.
Cuts her leg off and then uses it to survive.
That makes more sense.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like a recreational activity.
No.
While glaring in her eye, cuts
so
her leg off.
I
and
need
then
to be
eats it
super
in front of
duper
her.
clear because I feel it is useful for your information going forwards with the interactions with this man. This man has. The reason he is looking after the little girl is because he was looking after the little girl and her mother. Bodel's ship and the killing of the mother. And I don't know if you've spotted it, but the little girl is missing tips of fingers. Little girl and Castellan, our friend here, only people who survive, do so for 4 days on flotsam
And the leg.
and the leg.
I feel
Not
like
entirely certain how much moisture that have gotten, but this guy is seriously resilient, seriously ruthless, and happy to be partially cannibalistic.
Let's not.
Don't
mess
fuck with him. At the same time, he super wants to kill my sister, and I kind of want to watch it happen. Not because I think my sister is in any danger.
I'm looking at Skairn a little concerned.
Look,
Not sure what about yet.
by Earhart standards, the fact that I walked away from that meeting,
Yeah. Yeah.
he would have within Earhart within his rights to have me killed, or certainly imprisoned.
Hello?
Yellow.
The door opens and an adjutant steps in and hands a pile of documents out. He goes, compliments of Commander Castellan.
Thank you.
I'm assuming that's our run of the city.
Yeah.
Sorted.
And I look. And
They're basically just like, do whatever, let them do whatever they want. Sign Castellan. No, it's not really exactly what it says.
Is there like a number of people sort of mention the documents?
They are basically whoever holds this has the right to pass, and then it has a seal on it.
He offered us lodgings, or at least I feel like he did. I declined. I hope that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, I don't want to stay here. Fuck that.
Yeah, but also Rhylind. He gave.
Yeah, I don't think she probably wants to stay here either.
He gave me a letter for her.
We should.
I'm not. He asked me not to open it.
Right.
Scared.
I'm going to leave it there and go to the bathroom.
No
It's
respect.
been a while since we saw Rhylind. Even if we open the letter, we should probably find her.
Oh, look, if you're not going to take the offer,
I'm going to point out that I'm already holding the envelope.
and a knife.
Wait, we're not doing this? Oh, I'm sorry. I misread
Look, if
the
we found
situation.
Rhylind, then she'll tell us what it says.
Yeah.
Let's
Or and Bella's like got the mouse going down.
or we could open it and then tell her what it
Yeah,
says.
I open it straight away.
Okay. All right. The note reads as follows.
Please tell me it's a love letter.
I really love the.
The note reads as follows. Lady Rhylind, you may not remember me,
but I remember you. The King's Ball 16 years ago, where I approached you and asked for your hand to dance, was perhaps the most embarrassing moment of my young adult life. I have, however, grown older and wiser with age. I realize now that it was presumptive of someone of my station to even consider approaching a lady of your rank and standing within the court. However, the fortunes of the world seem to enjoy upending what might be considered the proper way of things, and we now find ourselves in different positions. I am aware of the scandal that is following you, perhaps more so than even you. If it has escaped your notice, I must warn you that the Crown Prince has personally placed a bounty for your arrest of a significant sum. This, I fear, is an effort to save face and silence detractors, as his recently betrothed is your rumoured paramour, Lord General Gideon's daughter, Lady Eleanor Gideon. As our paths have separated over these many years and a curiosity given way to lived experience, I no longer hold the naive, boyish infatuation I once did. But affection never truly fades away, and as such, I must warn you of the situation you now find yourself in. Whilst you are in my city, know that I will do my utmost to shield you from the repercussions of your decisions. You are safe here. As safe as anyone can be. Even my power has a finite leash. Be careful. Yours, Castellan Reed.
Guys, we shouldn't go to Earhart anytime soon.
We also
Shouldn't
shouldn't tell Rhylind what this says.
Or we could go to Earhart.
Bounty. People who are not in the conversation.
I think there are three people in this conversation, so I will have probably read this out.
No, did you read it aloud, or did you read it by
Yes.
yourself?
No, I read it aloud. I've just finished reading the letter,
Aloud,
and I'm
but
going
quietly.
to fold it back up, not put it back in the envelope, and I'm going to say, we are going to give this
To Rhylind.
to her and not mention anything. And if she asks if there was an envelope, we will just shrug.
Was it sealed with a seal?
It was.
So there's a relatively simple process with that, which a forger would know. You just warm the wax slightly and then reattach. You slice the wax off neatly with a knife and then warm it with the knife blade and then reattach it.
I have
without damaging the.
I have the feeling, though, the way that Abella opened this, it is not a
Let's be
process
honest,
that
it was
you can
with a
reverse.
flourish.
If the seal wasn't broken, you could seal the letter with the seal and not have it in an envelope.
There's any number of combinations you can try here. Let me know if you want to do something.
Look, Skairn goes like, I did say that this would only be read by her. I said that in full knowledge of Abella. and the offer that I basically placed in front of you. But could we have, like, maybe made some effort to...
Fine.
Okay, so while she does that, I turn to Scan and go, so he knew who Rhylind was. Did he say anything else that might help us find her?
No. He has no idea where she is. Oh, no. Sorry, he did. Yeah. She was picked up by his guards and they let her go last night. This morning. They picked her up last night. She spent a night in a jail cell, apparently, and then went away. Because I feel like the guards are in shit now. But they had no idea.
I don't blame the guys. Was there anything else? I feel like if he was offering us lodging, there would be a reason for it.
No, he's just being, I don't know. I don't think so. Probably maybe wants to keep an eye on us.
Sure.
But he wasn't too fast when we didn't say, when I was like, no, we're good. He wanted to know where we were going next, but I said we hadn't decided.
To be fair, I don't think we exactly had. That was just a general idea. I'm still very interested in going to Kaye.
I know everybody is. I'm not. But that's, we haven't decided, which is why I was honest when I said it. So shall we go looking for Rhylind? And where's Charlie?
Hi everyone, it's your Dungeon Master here, and today I'd like to talk to you about Variant Ventures. Variant Ventures is a group dedicated to cultivating a community of creators, artists and players focused in tabletop roleplay games. They seek to enhance the experience of the hobby and create an open and safe space to grow. The Artisan Guild is open and active with digital art, crochet creations, dice making, chainmail, writers and more. Their code of ethics and contact info can be found at variant-ventures.com. I checked out their shop recently and I have to say I really love their not a mimic tote bag. There's a cool little shot showing the inside lining of the bag's mouth, which is just resplendent with teeth. It's a nifty little thing. I wouldn't mind owning one myself, and maybe that's something that you'd be interested in. So like I said, definitely go check out variantventures.com. That's variant-ventures.com. And you know who else you should check out? That's right, it's your boy, Nerds of the West. Nerds of the West are a tabletop board game enthusiast community that is centered around the Twitch streams that they put out every week and their YouTube channel. You can check them out at twitch.tv/nerdsofthewest, or you can check them out on YouTube under the same name. Look, I'm a big fan of board games in general, but I do enjoy a good social deduction game, and recently the nerds played One Night Ultimate Werewolf and uploaded it to their YouTube channel. It's pretty good. You definitely need to check it out. They're throwing accusations from the get-go. It is one of those games that you just go in amped up and ready to just lie your ass off or tell nothing but the truth or somewhere in between, and for some reason it's just an absolute blast to watch and to play. Definitely go check them out. That's Nerds of the West on YouTube and on Twitch. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping to round out this ad break. As you may know, we have a Patreon that just started up, and I'm very happy to say a big thanks to Kat Thompson, our newest Patreon supporter. If you're like Kat and you'd like to support the podcast, definitely consider dropping by and checking out the Patreon. We've got some very cool stuff coming up in the near future. Can't say much about it yet, but we will be releasing our new side lore podcast, There Be Dragons Origins Westfall, very, very soon. And once again, big thanks to Kat for coming on and helping us out. Beyond our thanks to Kat, there's not much else to say this ad break, so let's get back to the story at hand. And hey, thanks for listening. Rhylind.
Yes.
You emerge from a alleyway, having left two corpses piled up on one on top of the other with their pants pulled down behind a rain barrel.
Well, I'm down a quarter of my hit points.
Yes. But you also suffering wounds from the previous night and, you know, other
I'm not
things.
in great shape.
No, so you're probably a little bit hairy.
You could use your second wind
To heal yourself.
to heal yourself.
It's an action.
Sort of.
I would allow you to do that if you'd like.
And so then that way it's sort of out of combat, you sort of steady yourself and you'd essentially get some hit points back.
Okay, that's a good idea. It
All
says 1d10 plus 5. So plus 13. That actually takes me back up to full health.
Hey.
Excellent. So I would like you first of all to make a perception check. You have advantage on this, by the way.
14.
Quite easy to see from here.
18. Nothing.
Okay. To your left, which would take you towards the floating market, which is a whole pile. Like you can actually see like this. It's an impromptu bridge made of all these different barges and small ships. Not even ship. It wouldn't even be the right word. Boats. You see two things. You see a group of approximately 12 people looking in your direction in a crowd, and they're all doing that thing that people do when they see someone they want to get to behind other people, and they're like starting to push people out the way. And then you see Charlie Roughhouse, who just has seen you.
How far away are we?
So you would be about 100 feet away.
So
Is there people between us?
Oh yeah, that's the markets. It's fairly bustling.
So I'm on the shoreline now, by the river.
Yeah. So
Are there any boats?
So you stepped out, and it's like a little road that's got like a brick wall that goes straight into the river. It's about 10 foot across, so it's a fairly wide spaced road. You could probably fit a small cart on here. There are a few people on this road, and they are heading towards the market. But to your right, this thing basically continues on, and then you see like maybe 200 feet further down to your right, you see a small dock area. There's like crates of cargo, and there is a larger vessel, still a barge, but a larger barge than the others that you've seen, tied up. People are taking stuff off it.
Is there any smaller sort of boat that one slightly bloody dragonborn could handle by herself?
There are smaller boats in the market, and then there is the larger one further down at this little dock area.
But I will have to go through the crowd to get to the market.
Yes, absolutely.
Damn you. Couldn't just be a little rowboat tied up in the river and I can
No narrative
jump in
convenience,
it and
unfortunately.
sail away.
What about some sort of manhole cover?
Yes, you hear the smell. You smell the scent of pizza wafting up from as the teenage mutant ninja turtles jump out. Say no.
You can swim.
Yeah, but I'm not in great shape and it would attract attention.
Attention has already been attracted.
I mean, the majority of the crowd don't seem to notice you, but these, like I said, 12 people
All in one place? Group?
spread out through it. So they probably were like looking for you, and then basically what you've seen is someone go, make some kind of noise, and then you've seen like all these heads just snap in your direction.
Okay.
But then again, you've also seen Charlie Roughhouse.
I mean,
Did he also
Charlie
notice
would be. Charlie wouldn't notice that. that's
not
meta
looking for
knowledge.
it.
Charlie would be walking through the crowd anyway towards Rhylind, like going, "Oh, hello."
that? Oh, no, sorry. I meant, did Charlie notice Rhylind? That was my question.
Yeah. I noticed her end of the episode last.
Well, for all that I don't think my odds of getting through that crowd without getting shanked again are great, I would like to have someone on my team. So I'm going to, tell myself that, what's a few shankings to get out of this shithole and head towards the markets.
Okay, cool. So you duck left and you're heading towards these people. Please roll initiative. They rolled 19. What did you roll?
A 20.
Excellent.
90-20.
So that puts you up to what? 22? All right, Rhylind. You approach the group. You'll get to one of them easily with your move action. It is a large elf. He's quite muscular. He looks like he probably works in a dock or something. And he's got a sailor tattoo on his shoulder. He's wearing almost like a sailor's vest of some kind. And just like tied off pants.
Is he visibly armed?
No.
Has he actually attacked me?
No, but he very clearly wants to attack you.
Yeah, is knocking people into the water an option here?
This guy's on the solid ground, but you could grapple him and then in your next turn move and throw him in the water.
Alright, so I'll put the butt of my axe into his stomach. Cool. 18 plus 7.
Yeah, that absolutely hits this guy.
25.
Nice.
Nice.
Plus strength.
4.
Yep, he goes down for count. How do you dispatch him?
I hit him in the gut and then basically I'll grab him by the back of the neck and basically shove him away from me.
He disappears into the crowd.
Cool.
The other two who are closest to him turn and start shouting, "There she is, get her!"
I'd get the gist of that though.
Yeah.
Because there she is is usually something, even if you don't speak a language, you can get the gist of.
General shouts of alarm is my point.
Would Charlie have heard that?
Roll me a perception check. Disadvantage.
16.
It would have cut through the crowd.
Because I would be looking at Rhylind. So I would have seen Rhylind, interact with a person.
Assault someone.
And then, yells and people looking at it.
How subtle was it?
I wouldn't have been trying to make a big scene.
No, but
I hit him with the blunt end. I was being nice.
Yes, but it's more that, Charlie's actively ooh, there's Rhylind. I'm going to go see Rhylind, and then...
Oh, shit. She just clubbed a guy with the butt of her axe.
no worries. At the end of this turn, you will be able to roll initiative.
Yep, yeah, cool.
Okay. So yes, these other two push through the crowd and make their way to you. But you see Charlie's expression just through the crowd kind of go... Well, actually, how does Charlie's face expression?
It would be oh, look, it's Rhylind, all happy, and then that, and sort of what's going on here?
Furrowing of the brow.
Yeah, so it just, yes, as in yeah, a bit of a confusion, but also it looks like this house is about to get a little rough.
Cracking the knuckles. Let's go, boys.
As a free action, you are able to talk as well, Rhylind.
I don't think, so far telling them, just fuck off, I just want to leave.
Not necessarily to them. Charlie's reasonably close by.
Yeah, he's about 60 foot away.
Hey, Charlie, I need a swift exit.
No?
Yep.
I've got your back.
House.
This house has gotten a little rough.
Not rough as it can get.
Okay.
Not as Charlie, is it?
The two elves that are approaching are like, come on, guys, I need to do my thing. No. No, they walk up, and you notice they both have daggers in their hands that they pull out from sheaths hidden in their arms. And they are going to both attack you.
Can I pull my shield up?
Yep, you can pull your shield up if you'd like.
Basically, I'll take one hand off my axe and grab my shield.
Okay, great.
Oh.
They rolled a 20. Does that beat your AC?
Yes.
Yep, okay.
Oh, hang on.
Chain,
Yeah, it's 18.
Chain 16 plus 2.
Yeah.
Are you going to parry this?
I can only parry if I've taken damage.
Okay, well, they've done 5 damage to you as they bring this dagger and they try to stab you in the gut.
So the next person.
5 total, or
5
from
total.
both of them?
No, sorry, that was one guy's attack. The other one, he only rolled 14, so he didn't hit.
Yes, I would like to parry, please.
Cool. So you add your dex modifier.
Okay, so it's +2. 4 + 2, so 6.
Yeah,
You
I
get the lot.
So the dagger, time restarts, the dagger heads towards you, and you... How do you deflect this knife that is pretty much heading for your rib cage?
I got my shield out, so I'll bounce it off my shield.
Yeah, very nice. The metal clang rings out. The guy looks a little bit surprised because he probably doesn't deal with people who are actually able to fight on a day-to-day basis. The other guy attempts to stab you and fails. I think he's thrown by the fact that his mate was deflected off, and that probably interrupted his attempt to get you in the side. And that's the end of the turn. So, Charlie, could you please roll me an initiative?
Certainly. Not so good. Just an 8.
Oh.
Just an 8. Okay, so you go last. Back to the top. Rhylind, what would you like to do? You have 2 dead men walking in front of you. Well, I assume they'll be dead men.
Unconscious men, maybe. Depends how nice she's being.
Part of me really wants to try and make as little of a scene as possible, and then part of me wants to make a massive scene in the hope it deters further attacks.
If you'd like to keep it as quiet a scene, because they're not making their attacks as obvious as they could. The shouts are obviously things, but like it's shouting across a crowd, right? You could roll a stealth check, and I'd be willing to use that as an indication as to how surreptitious this whole combat is.
Yeah. 14.
A few people have started to notice, and they're definitely making their way out of the way. But at the moment, the crowd, as an entity, is not aware of the fact that there is a struggle occurring. And what would you like to do?
The guy who tried to stab me and I blocked with my shield.
He's a mean-looking elf. He's got a scar that runs under his chin, bit missing out of his ear.
And does he have any other weapons apart from his dagger?
No, just the dagger in his hand. He's dressed in plain street clothes as well. You could reasonably assume that these guys are probably, if not, they're probably not members of this shadowy criminal organization. They're probably people who just heard through the grapevine that there was a bounty. These guys strike you as city roughs, people who would mug people in alleyways, that are maybe a small gang that kind of operate in one street or one area.
And have a chance to make some good money.
Some very good money, and they're definitely taking that. So these guys probably patrol the floating market and like pilfer and shake down traders, that sort of stuff.
Protection rackets, that sort of thing.
Yeah, they don't strike you as being like they're like the people who would work for the people who work for the people, if that makes sense.
Right.
Not even the
Do they
middlemen.
deserve to die right now?
Well,
Look.
Everyone's got to make a living.
if they're trying to make you die, then yes.
That is the problem. They are definitely trying to make me die, but I'm trying to minimize. I'm trying to give the rest of the people the
Benefit of the doubt.
benefit of the doubt. Fine, I'll crack him in the head with the flat of the axe.
Okay. So it's a non-lethal attack.
Yep. 16 plus 7.
Against an unarmored elf.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that does something. Let's see what it does though. It's probably like a small
Oh, fuck off. 5.
5 damage total.
Yeah.
Basically, I whacked his knife aside with my shield,
Yeah.
and then I basically crack him on the forehead with the
So you twist the flat in your hand. Yeah, cool. He steps back. Blood starts to well from a cut on his head, and he just looks really surprised. He's still upright, but like that sort of stunned upright.
Surprise.
Of all the things that could have happened today, that was like probably not on his list. Okay, you do have multiple attacks. There is another elf there if you would like to do something with him. This guy has a jaunty earring on his earlobe.
Rip it out.
With your teeth.
Yes.
Love the half elf and the elf. This is just like this.
Basically, I'm going to turn and do exact same thing to the other one.
I love the mental image of like, boop, boop. Just like, it's almost, you don't even move, you just sort of like, just go whack,
Ding,
whack.
ding.
Yeah, that's it,
all.
you ring their bells.
Exactly, I ring their bells.
Yeah, absolutely.
14 plus 7,
Yeah,
21.
That hits, absolutely, that hits.
Boom.
4 that time, so 8 damage.
8 damage? Yeah, this one goes down. He's just, like, you hit the one... I like to think of Rhylind having hit the first one and going, oh, I didn't quite use enough force, and then hitting the other one with it, and just He goes, I think he flies sideways and kind of behind you into the crowd, and you hear like a very comfortable thud, and then as someone steps on him. And then you notice that there are 5 others pretty damn close to you. You could get close to one of them easily. 2 on your left, 3 on your right. If you're facing towards Charlie, he's behind the middle one.
Has the stunned one retreated to the point where she could move without a disengagement?
No.
But if I move, I'm only disengaging from him, not the rest of them.
Exactly.
How close am I to a boat?
There are many boats in the floating market directly in front of you. However, they are probably not that easy to get from the platforms that have been laid out. There is a small dinghy that seems to be selling sheepskin. However, it is faced the wrong way.
So I'm better off standing and fighting.
Charlie, incidentally, is on the opposite side of this dinghy.
Well, I'll say, I'm not going to shout it, but loud enough so they can definitely hear me. I don't want to kill you all, but I promise you I will.
Yeah, roll me an intimidation at disadvantage.
I thought you were rolling really well. You were.
What did we roll?
A 5 and a 1.
Never use Angela's dice.
Never using Angela's dice again. I critically
Dice.
fail. They are not intimidated at all.
I get the feeling that your voice breaks up. Like, I don't want to kill you, but I will.
I just get the feeling that she's saying she doesn't want to kill them, but she's just like non-lethally hit the other 2, and they're like, yeah, that doesn't add up.
No,
Also, she looks probably fucking tired.
yeah.
She's like, I don't want to have to kill you all.
Mainly because I really want to fucking nap, but
Would that have been said loud enough that I would have heard or...
Roll me a perception check.
9, so let's call that a 17.
Yeah, you would have heard that. Barely. And yeah, I think you can actually hear the stress and the tiredness in Rylind's voice.
basically if they go for me now, it's a fucking bloodbath. It's on.
Okay. Unless you are going to do something else.
Nope. I'm going to stand my ground. They can come to me.
All right. The other 5 push through the crowd. 2 of them get to you. They're on your left, flanking you. The one who was surprised sort of like blinks a couple times, wipes his face, and then attempts to stab you again with the knife. Does a 14 beat your armor class?
No, it does not.
Okay. He misses. However, as he misses, roll me an opposed athletics check, as one of the guys tries to effectively shoulder check you and grab you in the process.
What do you mean? Opposed?
So they're trying to grapple you.
Well, I'll use athletics because it's higher.
Okay. You must beat a 17.
That does it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. 15 plus 7, so 22. Easily.
I like the idea of you sort of just being like,
Shield it
yeah, like you shoulder check him.
with a shield.
Yeah. So he kind of glances off and gets like thrown into someone who stumbles back, looks at them like, what the hell are you doing, mate? And he pushes him out the way. And then the third fella comes in and while you're distracted attempts to sneak attack. Does an 18 beat your arm class?
Equals beats.
Equals beats. Okay. As you deflect his mate, he comes in your open guard position and hits you for 12 points of damage.
I parry.
Excellent.
Again.
Excellent.
5.
Okay, so
Numbers,
you take 8 damage.
Didn't he hit for 12?
Take 7 points of damage.
Numbers.
My bad's mad.
They don't call you Matthew.
Yeah,
They don't, they call me Matt.
I'm glad that you went there because I was like, I can't find a way to make that into a workable joke, but you pushed through.
I don't get it.
Matthew.
Nice.
There was nothing to get. It was fucking nothing to
No,
get.
I'm gonna.
I
Guys,
very much appreciate
I appreciate
that
that.
joke.
That's a
Thank
good-
you, Tristan. It's
that's
been a long week.
solid.
I was very impressed with it.
Solid 8 out of 10. That one.
Solid 5 out of 7.
Okay.
5 out of 7. Perfect score.
Yeah.
I give it a 5 out of 10.
So, 2 people behind you suddenly have crossbow bolts erupt into their backs
Oh dear.
and fall over. They are innocent civilians, and the crowd panics and clears the way between you and 3 of the other remaining people who are trying to assault you. One of them is carrying a short sword, and the other 2 now have 2 empty hand crossbows. And they are like, oh, shit.
Sorry, is all of this happening between me and Rhylind?
Yes.
So those crossbow people...
You are actually like 20 foot behind the guy with the short sword. Like,
What about those 2 crossbow people that just killed?
they're flanking him on either side. So,
Good.
Yeah. You could easily take them.
Can I just for bonus action say, well, that was a shit shot, both of you.
Yeah.
Unless their intention was to clear the way, in which
Yeah.
case it worked very nicely.
They rolled pretty bad.
What's the crowd's initiative?
The crowd are clearing the area. They don't really get an initiative. This is all happening as you speak. You now have pretty much an open courtyard as everyone attempts to get out the way.
Fantastic.
You can also see that the remainder of this gang, another 5 individuals, are now pushing their way very, very badly through a on-rushing, fleeing horde of people.
So how many people is that in total who are now trying to kill me?
2 are unconscious, 1 is injured. There are 5 in front of you, so that brings us to a total of 8. Then there are another 5.
Please don't kill my character.
Charlie.
Yeah, might I have my
It
turn?
is your turn.
Okay.
There is a small boat with sheepskin and
I don't give a shit
pallet
about
in
the
front
boat. Those 3 people that were in front of me, the 2 that just crossbowed and the guy in between them with the
Yeah.
short sword. So they're about 20 feet away from me.
Yep.
Brilliant. Alright, let's do it this way. I'm gonna walk up. So they're only 20 feet, so I use 20 feet of movement. And I'm going to make 3 attacks against 3 different people.
Okay.
But I want to narratively do it by grabbing the sides of the heads of the 2 people that just had the crossbows and bashing them into the head of the guy in the middle. Okay, so the guy on the left does a 15 hit.
Absolutely.
Guy in the middle, that's a 13.
Yeah, that hits.
And then the other guy, also a 13.
That also hits. Great. So you have hit all 3 of them.
Yep.
Roll your damage for each attack and then tell me what you do.
Jesus.
You're more than 5.
6 damage. So hang on, so that's 11. That's 11. And that will only be a 6. So I grab... So we'll call the guy in the middle... No, we'll call the guy on the left as the one I did 6 damage to.
Yep.
The other 2 I do 11 points of damage to. As Charlie sees that they've just killed innocent people. That upsets his sensibilities. So he walks up and essentially roughly grabs the 2 crossbow guys by the ears and bashes their heads into the guy in the middle's head.
Yep.
Sort of
Yeah, no, it's
bumping their heads
It's
together.
a head sandwich.
Yes. So
Crushing
11.
the one in the middle with like a watermelon.
Yeah, so 11 to the guy on the right.
Yep.
11 to the guy in the middle and 6 to the guy on the left.
Cool. So you hear the guy in the middle go, "Oh, you hit them." The guy on the left say, "Oh, I feel really bad about that." And then you hear, "Poof!"
And then you hear, "You're about to feel even worse." And then I basically turned 3 heads into 1 head.
Yep. Okay. So the one who said he felt really bad about that, he's still standing. However, he has such a bad headache that he kind of wish he doesn't. The other 2 just completely drop to the ground. But yeah, this guy, he sort of does that thing of like your Saving Private Ryan marching up the beach of Normandy, like, ooh, don't really know what the fuck's going on, shell-shocked, stumble. But he's still up.
I want to sort of just shift his gaze to me, sort of standing over him. I'm going to try and make an intimidation check.
Sure. Roll an intimidate check and then tell me what you say.
That's a nat 20 on the die.
Very nice. Very
It's
nice.
a lot better than Karen's intimidation.
It's okay, he rolled like a 4.
So Charlie basically sort of, while still holding his ear, turns it so that he's forces his head into his gaze and goes, "If you don't get out of here now, I will remove your limbs very slowly from your body and feed them to your unconscious friends. Do you understand me?" That's all
You
in
smell-
Bachene as well.
Oh, yeah.
All the fluids.
Yeah, no, you smell urine. And he just goes, "Yes, sir." And
Charlie sort of
Bachene.
whilst holding his ear, sort of just shoves him
yeah.
away,
And he joins the fleeing crowd.
yeah.
Classic Bachene running away.
And then with the other 30,
Yeah, we have no French listeners left at this point.
and then with the other 30 feet of movement,
Yep.
I move towards. How far away is Rhylind? There's 40 remaining, so I'll move 30 feet. So Rhyland's 10 feet away from me,
Yeah.
and the other guys are 5 feet away.
You can move up behind him, is my point. I just wanted to know whether or not you were flanking him.
Charlie's
behind
sort
or-
of fuming. If it was a TV series, you could see heat waves coming from him as he sort of walks up behind
So-
these people that are stabbing his friend.
So, Rhylind, a cliff face with a thundercloud above it approaches.
Good to see you, Charlie.
Charlie just sort of nods, but he's uncharacteristically angry right
There's
now.
a lot of relief in that because I was like, the danger zone. I'm about to get shanked. A lot.
The crew making their way through the crowd towards you are pushing people out of the way, and as they do, you can hear like distant bells ringing, the kinds rung by hand, which you assume is the local watch.
Great. I'm going to get shanked and arrested.
So the crowd parts and reveals those 5 ne'er-do-wells I mentioned before.
It's like that guy in Indiana Jones where the crowd just disperses and the guy's left standing there with us.
You can see one is holding a heavy crossbow.
Oh, good.
2 others are armed with knives. One has a short sword, and then there is this pretty large gentleman wearing leathers who appears to be completely unarmed, but he is holding in both hands a set of heavy brass knuckle dusters.
That would be armed.
Well, I said appears. So, Charlie, you hear the man with the heavy crossbow turn to the large chap wearing the knuckle dusters and goes, "Fadley, he is almost as big as you."
Uh-oh.
What, Charlie hears that?
Yeah. Because the crowd's pretty much empty, but
Yeah.
Says the little man with a crossbow.
How far away from him are they?
30 foot.
Does anyone else just picture the guy from the second Sherlock Holmes movie?
Yeah.
So to give you an idea of the order, left to right, it is dagger, short sword, knuckle dusters, heavy crossbow. And you also have the guy in front of you, between you and Charlie, Rhylind,
Yeah.
who is still armed with a knife. 3 with you, 2 with you upright, 1 prone. They're the unconscious people near Charlie, and then the 5 of them that I just mentioned.
Right.
And the 2 unconscious ones near you.
Don't care about the unconscious ones. They're out of the picture.
Yep.
Focus on the ones that are still upright. Mm-hmm. Or at least in a position to be upright very shortly. Okay.
Top of the order, it's your turn.
Okay. Well, I will swing at the nearest guy to me.
Cool.
Who is that?
The one who tried to shank her.
Yeah. Sneak attack guy?
Excellent.
15 plus 7.
Yeah, that hits.
And D8. Fuck off. 5.
5?
Well, I'm going to kill now, so I'll basically try to
Okay.
stick my axe into his neck.
All right. Are you taking into account the fact your axe is damaged as well? Because don't forget it has a -1 on damage.
Would that be to hit or on damage?
It'll be on damage.
Oh, great, that's 4 damage then.
4 damage. No worries. Spray of blood comes up as you rake this across his midsection. He does not want to fight you anymore. He's very much not interested in this situation now that you're using the bladed end, but he is still alive.
Can I say, piss off?
If you want, make an intimidate.
9.
Nah, he's gonna hold ground, but I think now it's also partly because the rest of the gang can see him. I think if you were still in the crowd, he might have gone, yeah, no, actually, fuck this.
Right, well, I have another attack, so... I'll have another swing at him, actually.
Yep.
He didn't piss off, so...
Well, you didn't have a chance.
Doesn't matter.
Don't care.
Get him.
I told him to do something, he didn't. 12 plus 7, 19.
That hits.
Not a 1, please. 5 plus 4, 9 damage.
How do you dispatch your foe?
In the neck. Inwards. So it's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of cutting into, if 90 degrees is the angle between the neck and the shoulder, she hits at 45.
Yeah, I think that goes well in, and you just see the light in this guy's eyes just go out. He drops the dagger and just slumps to the ground. And the blade comes away quite easily, actually. Yep. His mate is in front of you, and he is not happy. He just saw you kill his friend. The guy behind you begins to stand up. The guy in front of you,
Attacks me.
he does, but he does not do that well. I think he's sort of a little bit shook up by the fact that you just killed his mate. So he makes a blind jab at you with the dagger, and it misses.
Cool.
However, the guy with the heavy crossbow levels it at you, Charlie, and goes, "No one talks to Fadley that way," and fires. Does a 16 beat your AC?
It most definitely does not.
The crossbow bolt whizzes
bounces
towards
off.
you, and time slows down. Did you want
Charlie
to do anything?
does, Charlie just looks at him, doesn't even flinch. I can't do that unless it hits me.
And then it pings off a peck.
No, he just...
The peg just moves out of the way.
He's staring at him and doesn't flinch because he's like, that's not going to hit me. And it just...
There's a split second where you're like, oh fuck, it's going to hit me, as it just whizzes past your eye. But doesn't touch you. You maybe get the slightest caress from the fletching, but it doesn't, it tickles.
And then Charlie just sort of goes shakes his head and you're next.
The guy goes,
Do something, Fadley.
Fadley pushes in front of his mate with the crossbow, and he's certainly not big in the sense of like if you lined each other up, he would not be anything on you. This guy's maybe 6 foot, but you can definitely tell he knows how to fight, like, and probably scraps. He just moves straight up to you and tries to cold clock you.
So how far away is he from me? Sorry.
You're 30 foot away.
So he's 30 feet. Yep. Cool.
So he walks straight up to you and like telegraphs, like you're like amateur.
Yep.
You would never telegraph a shot like this. And he brings that tack down and does a 19 hit your AC.
It does not.
That's okay because he's got a second attack. And as he brings this big telegraph shot down, he does like a rabbit punch towards you, but misses you because he.
So that big telegraph swing, Charlie just sort of like bends with it, and then the rabbit punch, he just sort of like does that flex, and like bodybuilders,
yeah,
and they flex, and all of their stomach like vanishes into their spine.
Yeah, and I think he was going for your gut.
Yeah,
and it's just like, I didn't hit anything. What?
Yeah, because Charlie just sort of goes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the short sword and the 2 daggers, all three rather, move towards you, Rhylind. And the fellow with the short sword brings a nice over-the-top blow down on you. That's okay, he crit failed that one. He brings the sword down and misjudges it, and like you hear a nice clang as it hits the cobblestone. And it actually, unfortunately, wedges into one of his unconscious friends.
No!
And he's like, the guy starts screaming, and he's like, oh no, I didn't.
How badly did you roll?
I rolled a 1.
The other 2 guys, the knives, split left and right and attempt to do another sneak attack. That is not going to hit you. That will an 18 beat your AC?
Equals beats.
Equals beats. Okay. You sneak attacks you for 5 damage. So the guy on the left comes around, and basically, I think because of the fact that this guy hit the guy on the ground and he's screaming, and also there's the guy who's kind of stunned, it's a little bit hard to get in, but he tries to shank you and misses. But your attention is sort of drawn to him because he seems like the immediate threat. And the guy on the right, who, right from his perspective, you left to yours, slips around and just brings the knife in under the belt.
And I'll parry again.
Fantastic.
How much damage is he trying to stop?
5.
Cool. So 6, so I block it completely.
Cool. And yeah, you just deflect the blade. So he's like, I got you. Oh, shit.
She still has the shield. Curses!
Yeah, effectively, right? Cool. Charlie.
Right.
Who to murder now?
Well, Fadley's right in front of me, right?
Yes.
Yes. Fadley the dentist.
Fadley's going to need a dentist.
I did.
Who is Fadley?
It's a
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 cats. Bill Bailey's sitting there reading an Indonesian to English phrase book, and they're like, "Oh, who is your dentist?" And he's like, "His name is Fadley." Like, "Oh, he's the one who is also the actor." "Yes, you are very lucky. Why? Your dentist is very attractive." Like, this is a phrase book. Like, in Indonesian.
That's actually not doing too badly. Like, a dentist isn't a bad career.
In Indonesia as well, yeah.
Yeah. And he's an actor, and he's attractive.
And his
Hell,
name's Fadley.
At this point, I want to marry him.
Oh, Fadley gets me hard. All right.
No, he doesn't. He barely connects.
So, okay.
I just needed a name.
Okay, so Charlie sort of... No, Charlie doesn't smile. Charlie just sort of shifts...
The grim face of death turns towards
shifts
Fadley.
his eyes into it, like just stares at him and goes, "That's not how it's done." I'm gonna... First attack... Oh, that's only a 4 plus 8, so 12.
That does not hit.
Okay, so Charlie, like, throws that a punch...
A feint, if you will.
A feint to his next attack, which is a 9 plus 8, so 17.
That hits.
So as he throws the punch and he moves, then Charlie sort of winks and throws an elbow backwards into the guy's temple.
Yeah, right. So I think he dodges the first attack and is like, whatever.
Yeah. And, so then that is... It's only 6 points of damage.
Yep.
But I will spend that key point to get you to make a saving throw beat
Sure.
16. It's a Constitution saving throw to not be stunned.
He equals beats, so he just makes it. He stumbles. Yeah.
That's fine. I'll
You still
spend.
hit though. That's why he's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'll spend my second key point to flurry of blows him though. Just another time. That's a 6 plus 8, so that's 14,
That hits.
and it's a 19. So
Yep.
that'll hit it.
So both
19 plus, yeah. Okay, so that's 8, and that's 10. So he takes another 18 points of damage.
Yep.
Is he unconscious or
No.
Okay, cool.
He's still upright. He doesn't look good though.
That's fine. So he's going to make a DC 16 strength check.
He rolled a 15,
Okay. So
so he failed.
after that elbow, Charlie sort of pushes a hand onto his chest, brings a fist into his nose, like once, and then the next punch looks like it's coming for his nose, but he shifts it down and punches him sort of in the stomach.
The solar plexus.
Yep. So that's at 18 damage, and because he failed, he is pushed 15 feet away from me.
Yep. He goes skittering back.
Yep.
Does he go prone or does he just move?
No, he just moves.
Yep.
Does he move towards me or away from me?
Away from you. He's moving to your left.
Okay, cool.
Fadley is halfway between you, Charlie, and the crossbowman.
Yeah, no, now Charlie will give him a smile.
Top of the order.
Okay, whoever's closest to me is getting an axe to the face.
All right. Well, you have a now standing brigand behind you. You have one to your if this was a square quadrant and north was Charlie, you have one in front of you between you and Charlie. You have one to your forward left, one to your left, and one to your rear left, and one to your back.
Right, that dude getting an axe to the face.
Yep. Cool.
The one that killed his mate.
No, actually, that was
No.
the swordsman.
I was about to say the one that killed his mate. Leave that one. He's fine.
He's emotionally traumatized now. 14 plus 7.
Yeah, that hits.
Yep. Oh, wow. I'm actually rolling really well to hit, guys. That never
Karen, you
happens.
touch that wood right now. And then there was an earthquake.
5 plus 4, so 9.
Yep. He goes down.
Cool.
So how do you dispatch this fella?
Same way, side of the neck.
He just slides off your blade.
Is he on my left or on my right?
He was on your rear left.
Okay, cool.
The guy who was prone, who's behind you, looks in horror as his mate falls to his side.
Cool, and I'll turn and swing at him now.
Okay.
Because I have a second attack. Yay!
Absolutely, do so.
Unfortunately, I only rolled a 3, so that would be a 10.
10 doesn't hit. So the prone guy immediately bolts because he no longer has a weapon on him and he saw you kill his friend. The guy with the sword kind of goes, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then goes to attack you. Does a 16 beat your AC?
Does not.
Okay. Yeah, he brings the sword down again, and I think it hits near to the screaming guy. And he's the screaming guy kind of goes ah! Doesn't hurt him again, but he's a little freaked out. Guy with the daggers, 2 of them, both have tried to attack you. That was terrible, and that was just as good. They both attempt to shank you and fail.
Thank God.
The dice were really nice to you. I rolled double 8.
One of them was injured, yes?
Yes.
So we're down to 2 knife guys, short sword guy, crossbow guy, and Knuckles.
Fadley.
Yeah, where's Fadley?
Knuckles.
What does Fadley and Boltman do?
For a start, Boltman's reloading. And Fadley moves 15 feet forward, wiping blood from his face. He does this thing where he brings his hand up open, sort of wipes it, and then readjusts his grip on the knuckle duster. He goes, "You punched pretty hard." In Bachene.
And I'm going to say, I think I'm going to keep those as a memento. Pointing to his knuckle dusters.
You can't do that, they're mine. And then he throws a punch at you. Ooh, does a 22 beat your
A 22 will hit.
AC? Okay. He does 8 points of damage. And his second attack does a 19 beat your AC?
Does not.
It does not. Okay. So yeah, he hooks you really nicely with a real hard left hook. And then tries to follow up with the right hook to kind of catch you on both cheeks. But yeah, you feel an imprint of metal, hot and flush against your face. It is your turn.
How's he looking?
He
and flush?
could probably take a few more punches, but not many.
Okay.
Give him a Liverpool kiss.
Well, I was saying it depends on... I'm going to hit him 3 times.
All right.
So first hit That is a 17.
That hits.
Next hit. Well, that's going to be more than 17. So that'll hit. It's a 15 plus.
Yep.
And then that is a 14 plus. So 3 hits a hit.
That's correct.
And that's 8, 16. Another 8. 24.
Oh, he's actually still standing.
Is he?
Yeah, barely. You know, like when you see people's faces bruising up, but they're not actually like, you know that they're going to look like a bunch of grapes in the morning?
Yeah, okay, so
That's
Charlie,
starting.
Charlie, like, throws a hook into his jaw and then does that same thing again where he throws a punch. So as his jaw's sort of moving, catches it with the
what he's
his
trying
punch,
to do, basically.
sort of switch his head across and then throw that elbow again into the, like, corner of his eye socket, essentially.
This guy's probably seeing stars at this point.
Purple stars.
Yeah.
With little dog faces.
What I'm going to do... Okay, so I'm going to do that. Now, because I've attacked him, he can't make reactions against me. And then I'm going to be... Joe's going to... You're not worth my time. And I'm going to move my 50 feet movement right into his buddy's face. Go with the crossbow.
Okay. Yeah, he brings the crossbow up to you. And just as you're loom in front of him. And it is now Rylind's turn.
All right.
Murder some.
I'm gonna murder the next closest to me.
That'd be the guy with the short sword.
Fantastic.
We're
Oh,
going
but he hasn't done anything to anyone of his mates.
He drew a weapon against Lady Rhylind.
He had
That
it-
is a death sentence.
Anyway, well, short sword guy is clearly incompetent and a dickhead, so he's getting an axe.
Oh.
Cool. Roll an attack.
Right, I attack him with my axe, and I roll a natural 20. For 27.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say that barely hits him. It's sarcasm, of course.
Yeah, of course. Nice. There are 7s.
That would be 14 plus 3 because I lose 1, so that will be 13 points.
So how do you kill this?
Oh, sorry, no,
apple sword?
14 plus 4 minus 1, so 17.
How do you murder this hapless bastard?
I take his head clean off.
Yep. The whole, like, spurt,
Yeah,
spurt.
basically
Yeah.
it's like the Black Knight, but his head. I literally swing it, goes straight through his neck like a hot knife through butter,
Or like
and
an axe through a neck.
or like an axe through a neck, and his head falls off, and blood spurts as he kind of slowly crumples to the ground. Like he's left standing for a second, and then just kind of goes.
I think before that, he, like, raised his swords up high, like well over his head. The axe just goes through and neatly nicks it off his body. The arms are still fine, and then he just topples forward over his mate.
I'm going to turn to them, having just decapitated their friend, and say, "Last chance to run, bitches."
They do. However, before they do, you know that thing where you can see where someone's not quite looking at you, they're looking at the thing behind you? They do that, and then they basically, one goes left, one goes right, and they run. You can choose to do an opportunity attack on either if you would like, but
I'll let him go, because I have a feeling that Knuckles is about to hit me in the back of the head.
no.
Or the Night Watch.
So to give you an idea, they were between you and Charlie.
Yep,
They were looking over your shoulder,
at Charlie.
be further down the road from which you'd kind of come.
Okay, do I pick up on this?
Yeah, I'm going to say you're able to pick up on
Then
that.
I'm going to quickly turn and see what they were looking at.
There are now 6 masked elves
Oh, good.
standing in the middle of the space that's rapidly growing. They are
is-
walking very nonchalantly towards you.
is-
One of them has 2 pairs of sickles.
Is Knuckles still there?
Knuckles is currently doing battle with Charlie and losing badly.
Didn't Charlie leave him and go to crossbow?
Oh, he's not that far away from me. He'll probably come to me because I was like, "You're not worth my effort."
Yeah, he's still standing, so he's
So
still
I just scared off 2 and got another 6. How many of you do I have to kill before you just let me leave the city?
One of them responds in Bachene, and Charlie, you hear, "You can run, but you will not be able to hide."
Don't speak that. Who wants to die first?
Okay.
Oh, Rhylind is so fucking done with this shit.
It's been a bad day, guys, and I'm almost out of shit.
I mean, Charlie would hear that and sort of chuckle, like the little guy in front, he'd sort of chuckle and go, let you in on a secret. We're not going to be hiding.
Okay. Now, I believe...
It's Fadleys and crossbows, guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, I believe it's their turn. Crossbow guy fires his crossbow into Charlie.
Brilliant.
And right next to him.
21.
Give me that sweet, sweet damage.
Oh, okay.
It's a trap.
8.
Okay, well, I mean, I get a +10 to this roll, so I catch it. I know.
What's the mechanic?
As a reaction, I can reduce a ranged weapon attack damage done to me. If the damage is negated, I catch and may throw it back. You roll a d10, add your dexterity modifier and your monk level and reduce the damage by that. If you reduce it to 0, so I'm automatically getting a +10 to reduce it. If you reduce it to 0, you hold it and you can make a monk ranged attack using a key point to throw it. And I'm going to throw it at Fadley. Okay. So his friend fires it and I sort of he fires it, and as it's sort of about to fire, I just sort of grab it from the crossbow, like, and then just go, throw it backwards at Fadley.
Fadley, no!
Oh God, Brian, look, they hit
Brian,
Fadley.
they killed Fadley!
I rolled a 20 on the die.
Oh, very nice.
So, sorry, Fadley.
Fucking yeah.
Because I can tell you right now, he's only got 3 hit points left.
Well, I get to add my dexterity to it.
So he's dead.
I rolled a 1, so that's a 2 plus 5, so 7 points of damage, and Charlie sort of gets it and just goes, and throws it back, and it's sort of like...
Well, I want to be clear here, because you've told me Charlie would never kill people.
Yes, but these guys are assassins.
Are they?
Well, they're trying to kill... Okay.
They also killed innocent people.
Okay.
That was the
Yes.
thing that set Charlie off.
These people were happy to kill innocent, and it's not like an intentional. It's a Charlie throws it, but because I rolled a 20, so I can throw it wherever. I'm gonna throw it into his kneecap. So, like, excruciating pain, he falls down and passes out.
The state of modern medicine,
shock.
you haven't killed him now, you've just killed him.
Oh, sure. But, So Charlie basically throws it back into Fadley's knee.
Yeah, he goes...
And sort of, he's down.
Yeah.
Can I just query, you did 11 points of damage to each other's guy's head with the intent to merge 3 heads into one. Are 2 of those guys dead? Yeah? They're dead,
No one's
right?
dead.
You
It's
didn't-
unconscious.
You said 3 heads become 1.
It was
After they just murdered 2 guys and Charlie went tunnel vision.
Become one.
But no, my point is, I'm pretty confident those guys died. Didn't we say
I think that was judicial metaphor.
I would be no. Okay, I didn't actually. But if Matt wants, because those attacks were definitely in rage. So if Matt
roll me.
wants,
I will allow you to roll a wisdom save to not kill them.
okay. What's that DC?
I'm going to say 15.
I rolled a 1 and an 18. So the guy in the middle died.
I only wanted you to roll 1, so roll 1 dice. Because it's
Oh, okay. Well,
for the attack, right? The intent.
you know what? I'm gonna take the 1.
Oh. Okay.
No, okay, I won't. I'll take the 16.
No, I'm going to say they're unconscious.
But that's the thing is it's okay. That's why I'll take the high result
Yeah.
because that's an 18.
But anytime
but
it
it
was
was-
something that's... I think from now on, because obviously it's your
Yeah.
journey, anytime that you want to, like... If you're in a rage mode style thing and you're like, I want to do something like that, you will be rolling will saves to not accidentally kill them.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Because, like, basically, after George,
Yeah.
Charlie's pretty much sort of assassins are fair game.
That's why I was assuming Charlie had killed them.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is a really cool instance of Tristan going beyond what Charlie currently is.
Yeah, because Charlie would turn to Crossbow and go, "Why did you shoot your friend for?" He goes, "But I didn't." And would probably sort of hold his hand out like, "You want to give that to me?"
He does. He hands over the crossbow and then, like, hands up, starts backing away.
And Charlie sort of like,
And he's... yeah, turns and runs.
just quickly turn to Rhylind after everyone's dead and be like, "Do we need to run?"
Well, they want to kill me, so it might be a good idea.
Follow me then.
The easiest place for you to run would probably if you ran to your left and headed down along the path that runs along the length of the island that Rhylind was on. It would allow you the best way to break line of sight. You could attempt to run back the way you came. However, that is effectively like 300 foot of open terrain.
Charlie is thinking of trying to head back to Castellan's estate, but if that way's not the best way to do it...
It's just, it depends on what you want to do, because they're going to follow you. If you're going to try and lose them and then go to Castellan's estate,
yeah,
that would be the better way to do it, would be to try and lose them and then double back.
Yeah. Sure, so Charlie will sort of gesture to the boat and wait for Rhylind to make the move to the boat.
Like, they're not between us and the boat. Just
No. They are further enough away that you could, as I said, either head left and head down into an area that would allow you to perhaps elude them and then double back, or possibly find another way to cross the river, or you could head back across the way you came, or you could fight them, or you could tell me another thing that you'd like to do.
I want to get in that boat and get the hell out of here.
Okay.
So, looks fine. Let's go.
All right.
So Charlie will basically wait for Rhylind to get on the boat, and he'll get on the back end. So essentially, I'm putting myself between Rhylind and the direction the people are coming from.
Okay.
Just in case if they start shooting bows, it's going to hit Charlie before it hits Rhylind.
Sure, no problem. Okay. Yeah, you jump in the boat, and the moment you start making moves like that, they break into a run.
Yep. So Charlie's plan is basically, once Rhyland's in the boat, is to sort of run and I'll make an acrobatics check, say, and like push the boat away. And as
That'll
he's
be an
pushing,
athletics check for sure.
as he's pushing the boat, sort of leaping, giving it some momentum and jumping into it.
Okay.
So athletics, yeah.
I'll let you do an athletics to get the momentum, and then if you want to try and actually steer it, because it will be going backwards, if you have a vehicle handling or any...
I'm proficient with nautical.
Cool.
I'm
then you
proficient with boats.
Then once you're in there, I'll let you use that to try and make sure that it's heading in the right direction.
So with athletics, that's 17 plus 5. 22 to give it the...
yeah, that works.
Jump in.
Yep, you managed to land in it. It's about 10 feet out from the pier.
Yep. And then start with haste rowing it.
If there's enough oars, I will row too.
Sure.
Yeah, there is absolutely enough oars.
Can I dash with a boat?
No.
I want to row the boat very quickly.
Okay, I'm going to house rule something here. Since you're moving using a watercraft, in combat, it's going to use your action to move instead of your movement, because technically you're using an object. It'll be strength plus any vehicle proficiency you have, and I'll get you to make a DC 10 check every time you make that action, because technically it's difficult terrain, but you're not swimming. So if you succeed, you move your full movement. If you fail, you will only move half your movement. But if Rhylind helps you, you can combine your movement in the same turn. So you would be able to move up to, I think, 70 feet. But just be aware that so can your pursuers. In fact, actually, I think this is probably just a skill challenge with a bit of combat thrown in. So what we'll do is we'll keep the action economy of combat. You guys will still have your actions, your movements, your bonus actions to do whatever you want. But it's going to be you, Charlie, and Rhylind acting together in the same turn versus then your pursuers. You can still use your action to attack them and vice versa, but if you want to move, you're going to have to use that action to row the boat.
Charlie's attempting to grant partial cover to Rhylind by having the assassins between him and them.
Okay.
And just row.
All right.
Yeah, Rhyland's just rowing. She's done. Every time she kills someone, it's like playing fucking whack-a-mole. So,
Yep.
Hit
Quite
one
literally in a couple of cases.
yeah, let's just go.
Yep. So just
It's a D20 over 10, right?
Yep. It's the vehicle check, but you're assisting, so yeah.
18.
Okay. So the masked people run up like angry elves on the shoreline. One of them shakes their fist at you, shouts something very indistinct in Bachene. You think it was a curse word. You weren't taught those words, obviously.
Oh god.
Mad!
Oh, I think he said he was mad.
No, it's
Why?
the ocean.
I think they're angry.
No, because it's Italian. Mare, la mer is the ocean.
Yeah. So, one of them draws a hand crossbow.
Yep.
And attempts to shoot. And misses by a country mile.
You took the heavy crossbow with you.
I do. I've got the heavy crossbow.
Hey, I got a 10 that time.
That is a... Yeah, I only got a 6 that time.
Rhylind figures it out, but Charlie's fucking it out.
It would turn the
you're
ship.
just spinning.
Yeah, that's what
It just, yeah, like...
I feel like Charlie's doing both oars and Rhyland's picked up one.
Look, I've been shanked a few times. I'm not thinking
She's
straight.
not a seagoing person.
Okay, so you see them kick someone out of another boat into the water. Like you hear them go, ah, splash. And they are attempting to do the same thing.
4 of them are rowing, and they are starting to gain on you.
You row, I'll shoot.
Sure. I row, that's a 17.
It's like, it's hopping. It's like Obelix rowing.
Yes, I love that image.
Yeah.
Asterix in Britain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as well, so we haven't had this conversation, but I am rowing us towards Castellan's. Like, the plan is to go towards Castellan's.
It's a bit of a row.
Yeah, that's fine. But I would be like, I only know one place that, is going to be safe. I hope you don't mind going to Castellan's.
Best option.
Yeah.
And as I'm getting my bow out and drawing it, I say, look, I'm happy to drop you off, but I don't fancy getting arrested as well as stabbed today. And then I shoot my longbow backwards at the pursuers.
Roll me. And attack.
Crit foul.
Rough.
Wow.
High or low?
Low.
The bowstring snaps.
I throw my bow down in the bottom of the ship. I say a few choice curse words, and I draw my pistol and shoot it at the pursuers. 13 plus 5, so 18.
There's a guy on the prow who's got the sickles. He's like, yeah! And you get,
He's like the war drummer on the front of the Mad Max truck.
10 damage.
yeah, you see a nice hole appear in his chest, and if you hear a, ah!
Is it the German squeal? The
Wilhelm
scream.
Wilhelm scream.
German squeal.
The German squeal.
Wilhelm scream. Yeah, come on.
No, I like that as an alternate.
It's an Englishman you're talking to.
Yeah.
The German squeal. Come on.
He rocks back, but he seems as good as you could be when you've been shot.
So not great.
No, not great. Anyway, it's their turn.
Okay. They are gaining on you now. They have 4 rowers, and they close the distance by about half.
Alright, well, I'm gonna row again.
Alright.
And I'm going to say, Lady Rhylind, he's not going to arrest you. You've got to trust me on this. I've got your back. Also, aim for the boat. That's an 11.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pass.
50 feet.
Continues to hop.
I don't want to be that guy, but is there some reloading bullshit? to
Yeah,
do
you
with
can use
pistol?
your bonus action to reload. I'm just assuming that Ryland's doing that.
But I can only shoot once, I assume.
That's true.
So I try and shoot a hole in the boat.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
15.
Roll damage.
8 plus 2. 10 points of damage.
Very nice. Yeah, there's a nice big hole pops up in the front of this thing, and the guy who you shot jumps away a little bit from it. The wood blisters and pops out from it. You see little bits of shrapnel jump out. Still not enough to bring this thing down, but the water is definitely lapping against it. They attempt to catch up with you.
Ryland, you see one of the elves egging on the others as they begin to gain on you. They are about 40 foot away from you now. Would you like to fire again?
16, motherfucker. 9 plus 2, 11 points of damage.
Excellent.
Yeah, you're rolling some good d10s, my love.
Yeah, you start hearing them swearing at you. Charlie, you know exactly what they're saying. It's, bastard lizard, bitch!
Oh, if only you had your ice breath.
Is the boat sinking yet?
It's not looking good.
Charlie is not drunk enough to call them knife ears. Let's keep going.
They speed up.
Yep.
Not great. Okay, so with a damaged boat taking on water, the pursuing craft is beginning to lag behind. But one of the elves stands up, draws a hand crossbow,
Oh, shit, son.
and fires at Rhylind. It does a 15 beat your AC.
No.
The arrow whizzes past your ear, Charlie, and then misses the back of Rylind's head.
However, this is basically just a last gasp as you start to see the prow of this craft dip into the water.
They start to slow down and sink behind you. I'm willing to say you have one more round if you would like to do something.
I want to blow another hole in the boat.
Yeah, please do.
So
That's an
6
11.
plus-
An 11.
It's 11.
Yeah, that hits.
Equals beats.
Roll your damage.
11 points
Yep.
of damage in the boat.
That's
6 plus 5.
8.
still good.
Look, the boat's already sinking.
It's an old boat. It's fucked. This takes another hole, and there's like shouting. Again, Rhylind, you have no idea what they're saying, but it is a lot of bastard lizard bitch, and she put her all in the boat.
Not even their boat.
Yeah.
Charlie will
Just
take
the boat.
a free action to turn to them. Do the Monty Python head slap that
Yeah.
we've already got one,
Yeah.
and then roll away.
Yeah.
Viva
Well,
la marche.
you roll away to the sounds of "We will get you when you are on the land," and all this sort of stuff.
Seaborn lizard.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my cape on and pull my hood up.
So, why are they mad at you?
So, how was your day?
I was trying to find out who they were by convincing them I wanted to work for them.
Thank you for listening to this episode of There Be Dragons. I am your Dungeon Master Matthew, and Abella DeRosier was played by Angela Leta Kaye. Charlie Roughhouse was played by Tristan Doust. Nezor Valghoorlis is played by Tom Moore, who also acts as our sound recordist. Rhylind Westfall is played by Keren Schlink, and Skairn Fellspar is played by Joshua Walker. If you're interested in supporting the podcast, please consider checking out our Patreon at patreon.com/therebedragons for additional material and content. You can also check out our website at therebedragonscast.com. There Be Dragons is produced and edited by Matthew Buss. There Be Dragons' original score is composed by Sean Tanian. You can find more of his work at seantanianmusic.com. There Be Dragons' art is produced by Brianna Manning. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening.